Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is the latest Manchester United news and transfer news this Saturday morning. And with Manchester United on tour and pushing that tour and the publicity and the positivity of the tour, we've got a bit of reality with Cristiano Ronaldo. Look, you may have heard over the last couple of days that there is more of a willingness for Manchester United to sell Cristiano Ronaldo. I've been digging a lot since that story came out a few days ago that there's people on the footballing side that would be liberated by Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Manchester United. So I've been very intrigued by that, and interesting conversations is what I can say as we start to talk about what the reality is at Manchester United with Ronaldo. We'll also be talking a little bit about Frenkie de Jong, Lisandro Martinez, and I suppose as we walk into this area now with Manchester United, where I and many people will have experienced the Manchester United tour and be able to say that it could go very quiet. It could go very, very quiet. Manchester United, a lot of the team will be, the players will be going on tour, but a lot of the corporate elements of Man United will be going on tour. Obviously, you wouldn't expect John Murtough to go on tour. We should still be able to do deals while we're going on tour, but look, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Will we do nothing and wait till the tour's over? Will we do bits? Will we slow down a bit? I mean, if we slow down any more in this transfer window, we'll be dead. Like, we almost are slower than a corpse. So we'll have to wait and see. But let's talk about Ronaldo. So the situation with Ronaldo is very much that he's not on the tour at the moment and that he would like to leave Manchester United. And he wants to leave Manchester United is the story that we've had all week. And this is the story that Manchester United would like to put out. But I spoke to a couple of people about this. And effectively, what intrigued me the most was this story that was coming out that there's people on the footballing side that would be pleased to see Ronaldo go. They would be liberated. And I wanted to dive deep into that because when I was speaking to someone yesterday, I said, well, I can understand why Harry Maguire would want Cristiano Ronaldo to go because he wants to keep the captaincy and he wants to be the leader and he wants to be listened to, and maybe Ronaldo won't listen to him. So I can understand that. I can't really understand why Luke Shaw would want Ronaldo to go because on the pitch, what difference does it make? He's a left back, unless it's just because Harry's his mate. I can't understand why a McTominay or a Fred would want Ronaldo to go because they've got enough on their plate trying to be midfielders. So I was talking to this person about it and they said, look, from a playing side, the liberation is actually the attackers. It's your Sanchos, it's your Rashfords, it's your Brunos. And look, Bruno Fernandes is in awe of Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, he absolutely loves Cristiano Ronaldo. But in the footballing sense, he becomes the star again of Manchester United if Ronaldo goes. Because if you think about United before Ronaldo, Bruno was the star player. If you look at the pictures, and you can check them out on our Instagram, at United Stand TV or at United Stand on Twitter. Obviously, Adam and Ryan are over on the tour. They've been to the stadium. They're taking pictures. I think there's a monsoon going on at the moment. So if you want all the latest clips and videos, make sure you check out our socials. But Bruno was the biggest, he got the biggest crowd for the people meeting them at the hotel. So Bruno, effectively, in a footballing sense, would probably be liberated by Ronaldo going. Sancho, Rashford. So that's where this is coming from. I didn't understand this at all, but that's where that's coming from. This story that people are putting out from the dressing room or wherever they're getting it about players being liberated by Ronaldo going. It's not necessarily the toxicity in the dressing room, although that is a factor. It's actually that people like Bruno, Sancho, Rashford feel that they can play better without Ronaldo because they're more liberated, that he's not the star of the team. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Hi Mark, do you think that there is any player in the world that could fill Ronaldo's shoes for Man United that would be affordable, says Taj? Not really. We'll come back to that though. So let's just talk about Ronaldo for sale because this was from the same conversation. I was told last Sunday that United are open to selling Ronaldo because they can remove his wages. They're not in the Champions League. They're not going to fight for the title. So as long as they say we don't want to sell him, but they selling him makes them money. I mean, selling him pays for the dividends for the Glazers in January. It's another 10 million, isn't it? What they'll make in wages. Replacing Ronaldo when he's on 450 grand a week or 400 grand a week with somebody like Brobby who will be on 100 grand a week, you're saving 300 grand a week. So the Glazers would like that. Commercially, losing Ronaldo is not a great thing. I don't think it will get released, and this is pure speculation. This is not fact. I don't know this. but I was told this morning by somebody in the industry that United shirt sales yesterday are appalling, absolutely appalling compared to what they would expect to be. Obviously, you've got to factor in Ronaldo to that, but you've also got to factor into the lack of signings. They have sold shirts. I think it's been received quite well. You lot would know more than me. I wouldn't be buying one of those shirts anyway. I like the away kit, but I don't even think I'd buy that. But the shirt sales are not where United would expect. But they had apparently anticipated this was going to happen. They'd put it back a week, which is never a good idea because it shows to the market that you're concerned. And even using Ronaldo on the images yesterday, and there has been sales specific to Ronaldo because Ronaldo's got a huge fan base. Those shirt sales are not where they would hope to be, and that's a culmination of Ronaldo and transfers, etc. So commercially, selling Ronaldo is a big no. It's like banning Father Christmas from Christmas. Santa can't be on any bloody cards or wrapping paper or adverts. Like, Ronaldo commercially to Manchester United is huge, but there is a willingness to sell, and effectively the way they will do this, and it's probably the way that we're starting to see already, United will paint Ronaldo as the villain, and then they will sell him. Oh, we don't want to sell him, but we really do. So that is what the situation is with Ronaldo at the moment. In relation to who I spoke to yesterday, who's pretty close to all this, they said, look, of course Ronaldo wants to go. He's not happy with the club. He's not happy with things that have been done. He's not happy with the ambition. But don't pretend United are crying into their breakfast cereal going, oh, he's going. They're looking at this more and more and going, well, if we sell Ronaldo, maybe Bruno and Sancho and Rashford get better because they're not in the shadow of Ronaldo. If we sell Ronaldo, we save 400-500 grand a week in wages and everything else we have to pay him. If we sell Ronaldo, the standards in the dressing room drop significantly because the club accepts, and this, I've not even mentioned Ten Hag yet, but the club accept they cannot. This is the club accept this. Probably the same as you accept this. Probably the same as the media accept this. The club accepts they cannot match Ronaldo's ambitions. Ronaldo wants to fight for the Premier League and the Champions League. They can't do that. And they know he's only here for another year. So they literally know they cannot match his ambitions next season. He wants to fight for the Premier League. He wants to fight for the Champions League. He feels he's earned that right from the career he's had. Whether you agree with that or not, that's what Ronaldo wants to do. Man United know they cannot fulfill those ambitions. What they need to do is put it out there that they tried. But we all know they haven't tried because look at the lack of signings. So I think the way this is heading with Ronaldo is that now you've just got to find a buyer. And the club are open to doing that, which is why yesterday I was quite annoyed with them using him on pictures to sell shirts, because I think that's very unfair, because I think certain fans will start to think there's a chance he's going to stay. I still hope he's going to stay, but if I'm honest, from the chat I had yesterday, I think the club are wide open to selling him, and I think a lot of it's to do with financials as well. From Erik Ten Hag's point of view, this is very important. Erik Ten Hag was expecting to be using Cristiano Ronaldo. He's obviously been in discussion with people at United this week. He hasn't spoken to Ronaldo. Ronaldo is not talking to anybody in relation to the footballing side at the moment because of he's not training because of family issues. But Erik Ten Hag has had to come to terms with the fact that Ronaldo probably won't be part of his team next year, and he's got to build without that. Now, in relation to the captaincy, I don't think Ronaldo ever was going to be the captain. That's what I was told. I don't think he was. I know we want him to be, but I don't think he ever was. I don't know whether that was going to be a reason why Ronaldo got pissed off. The captaincy's I don't know what's going to happen with the captaincy. I mean, it shouldn't be going to Harry Maguire simply because of him. He's had his chance and he wasn't very good. Also, on top of that, he's the captain of United and he's still doing stupid things on social media, which we saw this week. So, you know, my fear with Harry Maguire is he'll score a late equaliser against Brentford and run around with his shirt off. You know, you just never know what he's going to do. He's not captain material, but beyond him, I mean, I know it's a bit of a cliche. I'd probably give it to David De Gea because he's a safe pair of hands in a transitional year, but I don't think Ronaldo was ever going to get it. The question really for all of us now is how long is this going to take and where is he going to go? We can talk about Ronaldo up for sale or Ronaldo wanting to go as much as we want, but Champions League, no club has bidded for Ronaldo or shown any interest, says Majak. Well, you know, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about, really. I was trying to be nicer than that. You haven't got a bloody clue what you're on about. And you clearly don't know what you're on about, and you clearly don't understand football, because I was just about to talk about that. I find it absolutely hilarious that there are fans out there who, one, want to blame Ronaldo, and 2, think that nobody's interested in Ronaldo. Like, he literally scored 18 goals in the worst United side we've had in years as a striker. What's the most important position in football? Where did you want to play when you were a kid playing in the park? Up front. It will always have the glamour. He's one of the better strikers in the world still. He's expensive, he's 37, but he's still one of the better strikers in the world. And also, if you do buy Cristiano Ronaldo, you do get all the hype, all the fans, all the shirt sales and everything. So there are clubs interested in Ronaldo. Absolutely 100% there are clubs interested in Ronaldo. It's just whether they are the right clubs for Ronaldo and whether they're the right clubs for Manchester United. And this is where the uncertainty is at the moment, because who I was talking to yesterday said Bayern Munich's the club, but they're either playing a brilliant game of poker, or they really do not want him, because Ronaldo would love to go to Bayern Munich. He's not done the Bundesliga. He's obviously won the Premier League, he's won Serie A, he's won La Liga. So if you go to Bundesliga, you've done it all. He would love to go to Bayern Munich. They've got a chance in the Champions League. They will win the Bundesliga. His fitness problems. He'd love to go to Bundesliga. Man United would happily sell him to the Bundesliga. And I think you've got to bring that in now, because I think when I say Ronaldo would love to go to the Bundesliga, there will be people in the chat going, "Oh, fuck, get rid of him, scum," and all this. But I think you've got to open your ears up now to the fact that United would like to sell him to the Bundesliga as well. United are not innocent in this anymore. And I think that's where the story is developed. Look, Ronaldo wants to go. I can't hide that. I think he wants to go because we're not ambitious. I think he wants to go because our standards have fell through the cellar. But Man United are on board with this now. They're making out that they're not. The only way they can prove they're not is by saying he's not for sale and keeping him. They haven't actually officially put any statements out. They're putting it out to some journalists that he's not for sale, but Barcelona are saying De Jong's not for sale. Why are they doing that? Because they want us to pay his wages off. This is what United are doing. According to what's going around in the industry, United are open to selling Ronaldo. So Bayern Munich is the perfect place for Ronaldo and United to sell him. That's where they'd like it to happen. But Bayern Munich are being really, we're not interested. And there's no reason not to believe that. I think when Lewandowski goes, there may be a change, but there might not be. Chelsea, Ronaldo would go to Chelsea. United don't want to sell him to Chelsea. United can't sell him to Chelsea, but they probably would want him. And then I think Napoli are interested, but I mean, does he want to go to Napoli? They are in the Champions League, I think. I mean, it's back to Serie A, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I think if he goes to Napoli, it's simply because Napoli are in the Champions League. I don't think Napoli's a step up from Man United. And then could PSG make some late bid? I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go. I still hope he's going to stay at Manchester United. But the way things are going, that's probably not going to happen. And I just think Bayern Munich is where he's going to go. I've just got a funny feeling Bayern Munich might be playing a safe, a game of poker here. Club is a circus, says Scott. Maguire is the elephant on the ball. Magicians wants out. Recruitment are poor. Juggling act. Owners are spraying water in our faces, says Scott. Hi, Mark. Seems to me like we're heading for a mid-table finish. Shame on United, in my opinion, says Tom Kent. No, I mean, look, it's a news show. We're here to talk about what's going on with Ronaldo. I'd love to give a time frame on it. Nobody can. I mean, one of the most frustrating things with United at the moment, as we take it away from Ronaldo for a moment, but Adam, who's a member, says, "Do you think De Jong would choose Chelsea if they made an offer?" Well, let's come away from Ronaldo for a moment, because you can say to me, do you think, when do you think Ronaldo is going to come back to training? When do you think United will sell Ronaldo? When do you think there'll be a decision on Ronaldo? I don't know. You don't know. Most people in the industry don't know. I don't think Man United know. As I said last night, there's not a lot of good information coming out from United at the moment, and that might be a sign that we're new. It's a new United, but actually I think it's a sign that nobody knows what's going on. Like, if Frankie de Jong got announced in half an hour's time and nobody knew it was going to happen, you'd go, well done. That's not what's happening. It's not because people are being kept in the dark and United are, ambushing people with news. It's because they're not actually progressing things very quickly. And with Ronaldo, this could run for 3 weeks. It could run for 3 days. It could run for 3 hours. Nobody knows. It's the same with De Jong. When are we going to sign De Jong? Is De Jong going to stay at Barcelona? Is De Jong going to go to Chelsea? Nobody really knows how long it's going to take to find the answer to these questions. Lisandro Martinez. I mean, realistically, that bid should have been accepted yesterday. That was the expectation. There's even a story that Arsenal nearly got Lisandro Martinez for 30 million euros. I mean, I just don't know what's going on there either. We've not even really started doing anything with Anthony. Malasia's here. Eriksen. Why is Eriksen not a Man United player yet? He's a free transfer. He announced he wanted to come to United on Monday. It is now nearly a week later, and we still haven't signed a free transfer. I mean, what are we doing? Who is doing this? Like, are we auctioning out our negotiations to, primary schools or something? Like, are we getting kids to do it? Are they adding up the negotiations? Because it's just taking so bloody. I don't understand why we're taking so long on things, and you sort of have to. You sort of have to take a deep breath and just see at some point we will hopefully get where we need to be. But it's really, really weird that we've got no clarity or final act on these transfers. Let Ronaldo go. Ronaldo saga should not overshadow Ten Hag's first season, says Pushan. I mean, look, yeah, that's an opinion. I can't argue with that, Pushan. I can't argue with that at all. But what I would come back with, there is an argument there. I was trying to think what it is. Pushan says let's get rid of Ronaldo. Let's not overshadow Ten Hag's first season. But actually, it sort of does. Even if he goes, it does, because he's going because of the lack of ambition, the lack of signings. If you sell Ronaldo, we've still got a lack of signings, haven't we? He's still right. The problem still remains. Hi Mark, although Erik Ten Hag is a disciplinarian, how sure are we he's going to manage player power? And without Ronaldo, the young lads will be easily misled, says Brian. I mean, it's an interesting thing because Alanga, Garnacho, Mabry, a lot of these young players really do look up to Ronaldo. The youth players look up to Ronaldo. The problem he had was the young players that were already established in the first team. And I'm not going to name names, but Ronaldo even said it back in January. There's young players who are established in that United side who just don't want to listen. They're their own brand. They think they know best. The really youth players, the Mabrys, the Garnachos, the Alangas, they love Ronaldo and monitor Ronaldo and want to listen to Ronaldo. They're not the young players he's talking about. The young players he's talking about are the ones that are already in the team. And look, a young player to Ronaldo can be 25. Let's not forget, Ronaldo's 37. So when he says a young player, he's not necessarily talking about a 19-year-old. He's talking early 20s, through to mid-20s. As much as all this transfer news is depressing, this is the most exciting season since Sir Alex, a clear style and a willing coach, says Christian. Yeah, I'm very excited about Erik Ten Hag, and look, I mean, check out the pictures on Twitter of the team in the hotel, and they look very smart in the white t-shirt and the suit combo. But I can think of. I go back to last summer's transfer window. We bought Rafael Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo, and they were three really good signings, and there was reason to be optimistic. But there was this gnawing voice in your head, and we spoke about it on the channel. That midfield ain't good enough. It's still Matic, Pogba, McTominay and Fred. And actually, it's Matic who's passed it, Pogba's in his final year of his contract, and McFred. That was our midfield four. And no matter how good Ronaldo was, Sancho and Varane, you were like, games are won and lost in the midfield, and that midfield is really not good enough. You can talk about an exciting new United, and yeah, Erik Ten Hag, you could say, well, I would say he's very, very exciting, but that midfield ain't good enough. It's just not good enough. I don't care whether you're Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp. You're not winning the league. You're not competing with that midfield, because at some point, talent has to be in the equation. And it doesn't matter how well you train somebody, those players ain't good enough. Because if it was possible to grab a player and turn them into Kimmich, you'd just buy Leyton Orient midfielders. Like, there has to be a level of quality. And unfortunately, our midfield is crying out for quality. It's not got the quality needed. It's been neglected for about 4 years, and it's now been neglected for another transfer window so far. I don't care how good Erik Ten Hag is. I'm hoping he's going to be a miracle worker. But that midfield, look at the midfield we're taking on tour. It's an absolute joke. And look, maybe some fans will get confused and manipulated by us playing well on tour. Remember these words. Andreas Pereira looks like Pirlo on tour. I've seen Lingard look like Messi on tour. On tour, you're not committed, you're not fully fit, and it's not real life. It's really just about getting minutes into the legs, getting a bit of fluidity, loosening up. We could go and beat Liverpool 4-0 next week on Tuesday, and people will go, we're going to win the league, because that's just how some fans are. That midfield is terrible, and we've done nothing for it. And I want us to sign Anthony, I want us to sign Lisandro Martinez, but I'm massively concerned that we've spent all summer on Frankie de Jong, and he's only one player. We needed two. We've lost Matic and Pogba. Like, you can say, well, Donny's coming back. A lot of people don't think Donny's a midfielder. You can say Garner's coming back. He's never played in the Premier League. We've lost Pogba and Matic, both of which have won major trophies. Both of which are probably... Look, Pogba and Matic are better than Fred and McTominay. I don't care what anybody says. You can have personal issues. You can say one's old and one's inconsistent, but they're miles better than McTominay and Fred. We've not replaced Pogba and Matic. And actually, last year... Think about this for a minute. Last year we had Pogba, Matic, McTominay, Fred and Donny at the start of the season. And we needed another midfielder. Pogba and Matic have gone. We've not replaced either of them yet. And we still haven't got the midfielder we needed last year. So we actually need three. Okay, Garner's come in. You can say we need two again. But we need two. And we've not bought anyone yet. In the most important area, we've not bought anybody. So whatever we see next Tuesday or next Friday or the Monday after that, that midfield... I just don't think it can cut it in the Premier League. No matter what he does, I just don't think it can do it. It just can't do it. I can't think of a combination that's going to cause anybody any problems. Garner and Donny, Fred, McTominay and Garner, Fred and Donny. It's just not going to work over a Premier League season. It's just not good enough. And it's really, really poor that we haven't resolved that issue, because that midfield is going to cost us. It cost us last year. People want to talk about the defence. They want to talk about... some people want to blame it on Ronaldo, Rashford, all this, that. The midfield was the problem last year. Chelsea go on tour to the States today. Bayern are going on tour soon. If Ronaldo doesn't return to training soon, he won't even be ready for the season, says Majak. That's what I mean. It could run and run, mate. It really could. Bruno, Sancho and Rashford, 3 absolute flops. Sir Alex would be fuming, says Icky. And did you see Jesus Worldies yesterday? A taste of things to come, says Zane. Well, I don't want to talk about other clubs, but I suppose Arsenal and Spurs... They're probably more advanced in their preparations than we are, because they've actually got players in that are going to be starters for them. Malacia may start the season, but it probably will be Luke Shaw. So, look, I think Malacia is a good signing. I'm interested to see what he can do, but maybe not a first teamer. Arsenal, Jesus is a first teamer for you, isn't he? He's going to start games for you. You've also bought that other lad, haven't you? Vieira. So... Garner have made more signings than us, says Bobby, and Dybala should go to Tottenham as a backup for Kane for some games, says Nathan. And what does Murta actually do every day, says Simon. Mark, is De Jong a CDM? I don't get it. Are we going with Fred as the holding two again? Disaster, honestly, says Subro. And Eric Ten Hag should make the players watch every minute of every game from last season. That should be enough of a wake-up call, says Grant. I mean... Ultimately, Grant, I don't care what he does with the players. I just really hope that Eric Ten Hag has watched every minute of every game last year, because if he's just come into this club, and I don't think he has, and gone, everything else is in the past, we start today, there's so much he can learn from last year. I suppose the next thing I want to talk about is what we do next at Manchester United. They are in Thailand now. Ten Hag and the team, they are in Thailand now. That's where they are, the tour. I think there's a press conference on Monday. I'm sure he'll be asked about questions. The thing about the tour is that it becomes very commercial by its very nature. I don't blame Manchester United for this. It becomes very commercial in its nature, because the whole point of the tour is to promote Manchester United. It really is, because if you don't, you could stay in England, not travel, not put that impact on the players' bodies. You could play Crystal Palace, Brentford. You could play all these teams, Old Trafford, Villa Park, and not have to travel at all. The whole point of a pre-season tour is to take your club and brand out to your fans around the world. So Man United are in commercial zone at the moment. They're in brand perspective mode. And that could slow things down because their focus is on, do they want to announce Frenkie de Jong, Lisandro Martinez and Eriksen over the next week? Well, that might distract from what they're doing on the tour. So they have to marry up what they're doing on the tour with what they're doing in the transfers. Look, Lisandro Martinez looks like it might be quite close. I don't think he'll end up going on the tour at the moment. That's me being cynical. I think we'll see Lisandro Martinez at the end of July. I think we'll be lucky to see Frenkie de Jong by the end of July. I don't think Frenkie de Jong's really going to be ready to play the first game of the season at the moment. I think that deal is just so bogged down with technicalities. I just don't see. I can't even. I want to go back to bed when I think about Frenkie de Jong's transfer, and not for anything exciting, for sleep. It's just tiring. As I said, with Ronaldo, we don't know how long that's going to take. It just seems like that could run as well. And yeah, Anthony's just not even. Anthony wants to come to United, and United want Anthony, but that's just that's a problem for after we've sorted out Martinez, De Jong, and Ronaldo. So Anthony, forget about him. He won't be in the team until probably late August if we get him. I just think it's really hard. I mean, and to offer a bit of positivity, things could suddenly turn around very, very quickly. But it's very difficult at the moment. I think we, as a fan base, we came into this transfer window expecting a very different transfer window. I know the club expected a different transfer window, but we're not in control as fans. The club are in control, and June was a complete and utter waste of time. Like, we literally United should have just said to every fan, switch your phone off, go on holiday, watch a bit of the cricket, because June, nothing's happening. It's just pure speculation. Because we didn't buy anybody, we didn't sell anybody in June. Nothing happened in June. Even Dean Henderson's loan to Forest didn't happen till July. June was a complete and utter write-off. July, it's the 9th of July. We're a third of the way through July nearly. And again, we've got Malacia and we've loaned Henderson. Pereira's not officially gone yet. So all this whole, it's a 12-week transfer window. We've had what? How many weeks of the transfer window have we had now? Coming up for 4. We're nearly a third of the way of the transfer window, and we've only got 4 weeks tomorrow until the season starts. So look, it's a very, very depressing state of affairs in relation to Manchester United's transfer business at the moment. And I engage and love the positivity. But anybody who's positive about United, they're pissing in the wind. They're hoping that it's going to spray away from them, but they might get some blowback. Like, nobody knows. Positivity around United at the moment is based on one 4-letter word beginning with H. Hope. There's no fact. There's no belief. There's no evidence. Everything about United is based on pure hope, which is not how a big football club should be run. If I was CEO, I'd call everybody into the office and I'd say, why is it when I look around everywhere to do with United, the only positivity we have is based on hope? You know what hope is? It's like praying. It's like, you're putting your hands, you're putting the future of this club into fate. Let's just wait and see what happens. Let's hope. Big clubs, big organisations don't rely on hope. You rely on hope when it's the last minute of the European Cup final in '99 and you've thrown your strikers on and you're running out of time. That's when you rely on hope. That's when the magic happens. But you don't. Your strategy for rebuilding a football club cannot be based on hope. There has to be, this is going to happen. There has to be aggression. There has to be ruthlessness. There has to be big decisions made. And United just don't want to make them because big decisions means upsetting your mates. Big decisions means telling somebody who's your mate that they're absolutely crap at their job. United is riddled, absolutely riddled with mates rates. They won't get rid of their mates, and all the way through the club, it's why we fail. Why there needs to be, as I say, if I was the CEO, I wouldn't wait till August the 31st. I'd be calling a meeting now and saying, why on July the 9th are we an absolute embarrassment in this transfer window? What is going on? And Richard Arnold can have a couple of pints down the pub with some fans, but realistically, Richard, you're the CEO. I was having this conversation yesterday and somebody said, look, Richard Arnold is talking a good talk. He's saying, I'm letting the football people get on with it. And everyone applauded that because Ed Woodward used to stick his nose in. Richard Arnold needs to stick his nose in. He's the CEO of Manchester United. He cannot sit there and go, well, look, it's not my job to get involved in transfers. You're the CEO, mate. it is your job to ask people why transfers aren't happening. We don't want you to negotiate them. That's not what we're saying. But you can't just say, I'm leaving the football side to John Murtagh and everyone like that. I'm just going to be the CEO. You should be sacking John Murtagh if you're not happy with him. You should be sacking the negotiators. Like, or at least you should be bawling them out. You can't just come out and say, well, they're working hard. Like, your job as the CEO is to be the face of this football club as a CEO. I know people don't like that, but it's true. There should be accountability and it should be being called out, because this transfer window at the moment is an absolute shambles. And it does seem, you know what, it seems to get worse. I'm almost of the opinion now that I wouldn't be surprised if Rafael Varane put a transfer request in. You know, it feels like just when you want things to get better, it feels like, well, actually, instead of thinking what could get better, what's the next worst thing that could happen? Because it almost feels like that could happen with United. Top clubs like Bayern see a position that need replacing a season or two in advance. We have missed holes, massive holes across the squad. So Stephen, Rafik, welcome to the members club, and also Dusty as well. This problem is the board is slow to do transfers. Fact, there was a list. This is why we have a manager. Before Ten Hag had to take the players the board picked. They do not want Ten Hag's players, says Sarah. Look, it's been said before by many people in the chat, and they're absolutely spot on. We don't solve problems. We've had this, you know, when we didn't get Sancho the summer we were meant to get Sancho and we got him a year later, everyone celebrated it, but actually it's a year too late. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have signed Sancho, but we should have got Sancho the summer we wanted Sancho, because if we'd done that, you don't need to spend the next summer getting Sancho. United are absolutely textbook at this. Like, we've needed a midfielder for 3 years. We still haven't got one yet, but even if we do get one, we needed two. Oh, we got the midfielder we need now. Yeah, the one we needed 3 years. It's like driving your car and your front left is worn and your front right is starting to wear. You should change them both, but United will change the front left. And actually the front right needs changing as well, but it's got a bit of tread. So then they change the front right, but now the back left needs changing. United just don't solve problems and they don't predict problems. You know, Bayern Munich, like you say, with those tyres, they change the front left, not when it's worn, not when it, you know, they change it when it's just about gonna start wearing, because they want to keep the tyres good all the time. United keep those tyres on the car for as long as possible, and they only change those tyres when they're dangerous, not when they're worn, not when they're, you know, slowing you down, not when there's no grip. When they're dangerous, United will change it when they absolutely have to, because it's expenditure. Whereas a top club like Bayern, a little bit of wear on the tyre is affecting performance a little bit, change it. In fact, get a spare tyre. In fact, get two. That's basically how United is run, and it's all about saving money, isn't it? Mark, I want your thoughts on this. I have a weird but good feeling about Tony this season because he'll definitely be here, says Daniel Kirk. I mean, look, Tony Martial is a player that I like. I've always liked Martial. If you've watched the show, you'll know that. I'll put my hands up and say he's been atrocious for a year and a half, but he remains a player that I like. Same as Rashford. I'll call him out. He's been absolutely atrocious for the last year, but I do like Rashford. I believe there's a player there. With Martial, I would like him to stay, but it is personal. Like, it's because I like the player. I absolutely understand all these fans who want him out, who don't want him at the club, who feel he's had his chance, who feel he should be gone. I want Martial to stay and I want him to do well, but it is also symbolic of the problems of United that we're having to rely on a striker that we basically want to sell. We've been trying to sell Martial for a year. Like, that Sevilla move, he'd be gone if Sevilla had said loan to buy commitment. So we can't... United are the masters at this. I mean, look at what's happening with Ronaldo. It's all about Ronaldo wanting to leave. On the quiet, United are quite open to it, but they don't want that out there. Martial, oh, Tony's back. AM9, yay, Tony's back. Look at him. Martial's smiling. You've seen all the pictures. But United have actively tried to sell him for the last year. And now they're going to sell him as this, oh, yeah, Martial. Yeah. But literally 6 months ago, you were trying to sell him. Like, you've been briefing to the press that you're trying to sell him. And now, oh, it's Martial. And that's what annoys people. It's the continued repackaging and papering of the cracks of problems. I want Ronaldo to stay and I want him to do well, Daniel, because I like the player. But I'm also fully aware of the reality of United want to sell him, but they can't sell him because they gave him stupid wages. So now they'll start going, oh, Martial's back and all this. And it's basically the attitude of a club in crisis, because they can't sell players. So they have to use players that they can't sell. It's why Mata was here for so long. It's why Rojo was here for so long. It's why Phil Jones and Eric Bailly are still here. We can't sell problems, so we resell them to the fans as solutions. Oh, Eric Bailly's back. Look at him smiling. Look at Eric Bailly. Oh, look at him flying into a tackle in training. He's United through and through. We can't sell him. Keep it up. Yeah. And that's what frustrates people, is that you start to see through all the nonsense of we're just being lied to and manipulated all the time, because the Glazers don't want to sell players, because they can't sell players, and they don't want to sell them for a loss, and they don't want to buy replacements because that's sales, and then it impacts on their dividends and everything like that. Hi Mark, domino effect of our club. They don't care. Board kisses arse. So some players ask themselves, why bother to try hard, says James Howell. Well, look, I don't really want to get into the deeper meanings of the problems at United. I mean, somebody asked before, will Ten Hag be able to deal with the dressing room? Steve McLaren's a mediator. You can see him on the training ground. He's a mediator. He's another Mike Phelan. He's going to be mates with the players, and he's going to be the go-between between the manager and the players. How that's going to work with the players, I don't know. At the moment, everybody's very happy. As I said yesterday, the problems he's going to get is that you can only pick 11 players, and he's got about 25. Some of those players are just not going to get game time. And when they don't get game time, they're going to get unhappy. And when they get unhappy, it depends who you're making unhappy. I would be honest, and I would say, and I don't like saying this, but, knowing what we know about that dressing room, you should never be in this position. But I think this is why Rangnick did it, and I think it's why Ollie did it. If you're going to drop players, you drop Eric Bailly, you drop Donny van der Beek, you drop the personalities that are used to being dropped that can't really get that dressing room toxic. You don't want to be dropping certain other players who are powerful within that football club. But then we're not a football club, are we? If you're going to say, I'm going to keep picking these players, and then they get labelled as favourites. They're not really favourites. They're just people the manager doesn't want to drop, because if they drop them, they're too powerful in the club and they'll cause them problems. That's where it's going to get interesting with Erik Ten Hag, because if we still see the same players being picked that have always been picked, and you're going, why is he still picking him over him? That's because it's about politics. That's because it's about, if I drop that player, I might be out of a job in 6 months because this dressing room's going to disintegrate. And that's where it's going to get interesting. And to be honest, we're not going to find out about that until at least October, because the first few weeks of the season, even if you do rotate a bit, people will still believe they've got a chance. It's by October time, when people aren't playing regularly, that then you're going to start to find out about what this dressing room's really all about. But that's for the future. For the transfer window's open now. That's what I'm focused on. What I want to know is, when are we going to get this Lisandro Martinez deal done? When are we going to announce Christian Eriksen? And I know Christian Eriksen's a free transfer, but he should be on that. He should be in Thailand. Like, if he's a Man United player, he should be in Thailand. He's a free signing. There's no bloody negotiations to do. He should be in Thailand, integrating himself into that team, competing with Bruno and everything like that. Lisandro Martinez, we needed him bloody last week, not next week. We need. I know it sounds like a broken record, but we need to get this moving. Sammy, welcome to. Thank you very much for the super chat. End of the window transfers should be about squad depth. No first 11 ones who need that time to bed into the team, says Neil Crude. Well, we haven't actually bought a first teamer yet, have we? I mean, you could argue that Malacia will be, but you could argue that he won't. We've seen you overpay for Sancho. Now we will rinse you for Anthony. Both 50 million players max, says Leno Amsterdam. Yeah, I think you make a great point, actually. Hand on heart, how much do I think Malacia is worth? Probably what we paid, 12 million with add-ons. Hand on heart, what do I think Frankie de Jong is worth? 60 million, because Barcelona have got financial issues. Hand on heart, what do I think Anthony's worth? 55 tops. 55 tops, 50 reality. Million, not euros. How much do I think Lisandro Martinez is worth? 30 million. Tops. I don't think he's worth any more than 30 million. When you look at what people pay for Eredivisie players, 30 million. That's what Lisandro Martinez is worth. What we're going to pay 42. So we are getting rinsed. We're probably going to pay 60 for Anthony if we do it. So we're getting rinsed. We're adding 10 million onto the value of players at the moment and still not getting them. That's not your fault. That's not my fault. That's not the players' fault. That's not Ten Hag's fault. That's not Ajax's fault. It's Man United's fault, because they've been so bad and slow in negotiations. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and I will speak to you all in a little bit. Take care. We're back at 8 o'clock tonight. If anything else happens, we'll obviously be in contact with you. We will be doing watch-alongs for the tour. There's a press conference on Monday with Ten Hag. There's the match on Tuesday, which is 2 p.m. UK time. And then there's a match on Friday in Melbourne, which is, I think it's 11 a.m. UK time. So we'll have all that covered. I believe they're on the MUTV, but we'll be doing watch-alongs anyway. Don't worry about that. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Let's hope we get some positive news soon, but you never know on tour. I can't give you the answer. I don't know on tour. It's hard to tell. United don't traditionally do a lot, but they have to. Speak to you in a bit.